Hello, and welcome to the StarUI Ship Builder Patch instructional video. In this video, I'm going to walk through the process of downloading, preparing, and applying the Ship Builder Patch to the awesome StarUI Ship Builder mod. So to get started, we go to the Nexus Mod page for the StarUI Ship Builder v1.2 patch. In the description tab, we've got information about the patch, including instructions on how to do the installation. There are also some links here to the other pieces that we're going to have to pull down to actually prepare the patch. So to get started, you first have to have the StarUI Ship Builder mod installed in your Starfield. If you already have it installed, you're done. There's nothing more you need to do here. But for the video, I'm going to show you the process for installing the StarUI Ship Builder mod. So we will go to the web page for the Nexus web page for the StarUI Ship Builder mod. We go to Files, and we say Download with your mod manager. Now, in my case, this is going to be Vortex. A lot of people also use a mod manager called Mod Organizer 2, which will look very similar to this process. So we get the splash page showing that we're going to install the mod. Notice here it asks which mod manager you're using. Now here is the important piece. There are three variations of the StarUI Ship Builder mod that have different frame rates: 30, 60, and 120. You must remember which frame rate you used when you installed the StarUI Ship Builder mod. In this video, I'm going to be using the 60 FPS version. We click on README. Here's some extra information. Click on Finish, and Vortex will now download the mod. Go to install it. Now notice with Vortex it says deprecated faux mods detected. You have to click on Fix. This is because Vortex has had some updates since the last time that the StarUI Ship Builder mod was published, and the faux mod script, which is essentially the installation script, is out of date at this point. But fortunately, Vortex can fix it automatically. So once you click on the Fix button, it'll be fixed, and then the mod itself will be installed. So here we have the StarUI Ship Builder mod installed into Starfield. So I don't need the Vortex anymore, so I'll get rid of that. I don't need the page for the StarUI Ship Builder because we have that installed. So now we go back to the StarUI Ship Builder v1.2 patch page, and we need to get the actual patch files themselves. So we click on Files, and we say Download, and the patch file will now download, and you'll notice I'm going to go to click on the folder here, go to my download folder, and here you can see we've downloaded the StarUI patch zip file. Nexus adds a bunch of numbers here, which is version information, so that each version of your mod has a differently named file. Don't worry about it, the numbers won't bother you. So we right click and we say extract all, and here is the contents of the patch zip file. Now to this directory we have to add a couple more files to actually get ready to apply the patch. The first thing we have to do is go back to the StarUI patch mod page, go back to description, and we have to go find this xdelta3 tool, which is an open source tool. It's over here on GitHub. You can click on the GitHub link. We go over here to GitHub. On the right hand side there's something for releases. Probably any of the versions will work just fine. I used the 3.10 beta for my work. So we click on that, and we come down to a couple different things you can download. We want to get the xdelta3 3.1.0 x86-64 file. The i686 is the 32-bit version of the tool. The x86-64 is the 64-bit version of the tool. Either will probably work, but I did my work with the 64-bit version. So we click on that. Again, it downloads. I will click on the folder to open my download folder. Here is xdelta3 zip. Right click, extract, and get everything in there. As you can see, the only thing in that zip file is the tool itself. So we need to copy that tool into the StarUI patch folder. So again, right click, drag, drop, copy, and now we have this in our StarUI folder. Next thing we need to do is this has to be renamed. Notice that the file name here is decorated with the version and platform. We need this to be called just xdelta3.exe. Quick note on Windows. You'll notice that you can see the .exe, .bat, .png extensions in my display here. This is not the default configuration of Windows. By default, the exe, the bat, the png will be hidden in the File Explorer. You won't see them. So if you don't see the names, do not type the extensions. Do not type in .exe when you're renaming the file, because Windows will be adding the .exe for you if it's hiding it from you. So to rename the file, right-click on it. The icon with the A does rename. Notice conveniently it highlights just the file name, not the extension, which is what we want. So we're going to type in xdelta3 and enter. And there we go. We now have that xdelta3 program copied into our StarUI folder. Now the next piece we need to do is we have to go find the files from the StarUI Ship Builder mod itself. The process for finding those files will vary depending on whether you installed your game with Steam or Game Pass, and it will vary depending on whether you're using Vortex or Mod Organizer 2. If you installed your game using Steam and you are using Vortex to manage your mods, the process for finding the installed files from that StarUI Ship Builder mod is go down here, we'll start a new File Explorer. In the navigation bar we type in %user profile %documents /my space games /Starfield /data /interface. So what you'll find in the interface folder here are the files from all of your installed UI mods. So if you've got other UI mods in addition to the StarUI Ship Builder, you'll find a bunch of other files here. The ones we want are the ones from the StarUI Ship Builder mod, which are these four here. They all start with Spaceship Editor Menu, and there's 4 variations on that. We want to copy these files into our StarUI patch folder. So right-click, drag, drop, and copy, and now we have them in our StarUI patch folder. This file explorer here that is pointing at the interface folder, leave that up because you'll want to copy the patched files back into this folder after we do the patch. If you installed your game using Steam and you are using the Mod Organizer 2 to manage your mods, then you need to go and run the Mod Organizer app. And you want to have the organizer pointing at your Starfield game. If you don't see Starfield here, go to File, Manage Instances, and pick Starfield from the list of games that Mod Organizer is managing, and then you'd click on Switch to this instance. That would restart Mod Organizer 2, and then you'll see Starfield here. Now, in this panel here, you'll see all of your installed mods. Now, since I don't use Mod Organizer as my primary manager, it's seeing all the mods installed and managed by Vortex. So if you're not using Vortex, you won't see all of this stuff here. What you will see is the StarUI Ship Builder mod with a little checkbox in front of it. So find that mod, right-click on it, and click on Open in Explorer. In the Explorer that comes up, go to the Interface folder, and here are the installed files from the StarUI Ship Builder mod. As before, the 4 that we want are the ones that start with the Spaceship Editor Menu. Note that unlike Vortex, the Organizer 2 keeps each mod in its own set of directories, so you will not see any files here other than the ones that come from the StarUI Ship Builder mod. Once we've highlighted them, we right click, we drag, we drop, and copy into the StarUI Patch folder. As before, leave this file explorer that's pointing at the interface folder up, because when we are done with the patching, we're going to copy the patched files back into this folder, replacing the ones that are there. If you installed your game using Game Pass, then you have to use your Xbox app to go find the installed files. So we bring up the Xbox app and we run it. Now on the left, you'll see a list of all the games that you have installed with Game Pass. Now I don't install my games with Game Pass, so that's why Starfield is not here. But I can still show you the process for finding the installed files using one of these other games here. The process will look the same with Starfield. So you start by clicking on your game, which would be Starfield. On the right hand side there's a button with 3 dots. Click on that and you click on Manage. In this window we click on the Files tab, and in Starfield there'll be information here about all of your installed files. And under this button that says Check for Updates, there will be another button here that says Browse. Click on Browse and it will bring up a File Explorer, and in that window you will see that there is a Starfield folder. Go into the Starfield folder, and from that folder you'll see that there is a Content folder. Go into the Content folder. In that folder you will see that there is a Data folder. Go into your Data folder. And in that folder you will see that there is an Interface folder. Go into the Interface folder. What you will see is something that looks very much like what we saw when we did the Vortex example. You'll have a interface folder. It'll have a pile of files in it. If you have other UI mods installed, you will see the files from those other UI mods. As before, we only want the 4 files that come from the StarUI Ship Builder mod, which are these 4 ones that start with Spaceship Editor menu. So now we want to copy those files into our StarUI Patch folder. So we highlight them, right click, drag, drop, copy. Now, as before, we want to leave this file explorer that's pointing at the interface folder. We want to leave that one up, because when we're done with patching, we're going to be copying the patched files back into this interface folder, replacing the files that are there. We're doing great. We have now prepared the patch to be applied. We have unpacked all the patch files. We have copied in the xdelta3 executable and renamed it to be just xdelta3.exe. And we have found and copied in the 4 SWF files from the StarUI Ship Builder mod from the interface folder where they are installed into the game. And we still have the file explorer for that interface folder up so that we can copy files back. Now we actually can apply the patch. We do that by running one of these 3 fix-up batch files. Notice that each fix-up batch file has a different frame rate on it: 30 FPS, 60 FPS, and 120 FPS. You have to run the fix-up file that has the same frame rate as the version of the StarUI Ship Builder that you installed previously. So in this example, the one I installed was the 60 FPS batch file. So I'm going to double click on that. Now, depending on how you have your windows configured, you may see this little window pop up saying, hey, I don't recognize that program. It's talking about the fix-up 60 FPS. And we click more info. You can see it's talking about the fix-up 60 FPS batch file, and we want to run it anyway. So window will come up, it'll apply the patch. If we've done everything correctly, we see that it says patch complete, check your patched folder. If we made a mistake, it will say that there's a problem with the patching, and it'll tell you to go look at the error log file to get an idea of what went wrong. So since we did everything correctly, we'll hit any key, make that window go away, and now we go to the patched folder. Here are the patched files. We just have to take those patched files and copy them back into the interface folder where we found them originally. So again, right click, drag, drop, copy, and we want to say replace. And there we are. We have now put the 4 patched files back into our Starfield folder, and we are ready to go and play Starfield.